Alright, good morning, good afternoon, or good evening class. This is Mr. Arocena, and today we're going to talk about how to bring a themed team into the Scorpio Cup, especially if you're worried that your Oshi isn't top tier for this track. Being themed doesn't necessarily mean ignoring the meta, but it does mean understanding the meta well enough to make your Oshi team work within it. Alright, so for every Champions Meeting, I usually build around a theme. Sometimes that theme is meta and sometimes it isn't, but it always includes at least one of my Oshis. It keeps team building interesting and it forces me to understand why the meta works instead of just copying it. This is the same approach I used in Virgo and Libra, I'm just making it more explicit about it this time. Alright, so for Scorpio Cup, my theme is Team Rigil, so I'm restricting myself to Umas from this team as they were depicted in the anime. After some thought, I decided on Symboli Rudolf, Grass Wonder, and Taiki Shuttle. For those who haven't seen my previous team building videos, Rudolf is my Oshi, so she has to be in the team. Taiki just happens to be part of the meta and is also on theme, and Grass gives me another Dominator user who can double up the debuff pressure with Rudolf. Okay, so the primary win condition for this team is pretty simple. Rudolf and Grass will use Dominator to force the other Umas to basically slow down, and this creates a winning lane for Taiki to shoot past everyone. The contingency though is because I don't build Rudolf or Grass as pure debuffers, they actually have quite a lot of speed skills and acceleration skills. So if Rudolf or Grass or both of them high roll their acceleration and speed chains, they can still win. And this is really useful, especially if Taiki gets debuffed or gets boxed out somehow. Now, the biggest threat to this team that I've found in practice lobbies is if I ever run across a very front-runner heavy lobby, like the dreaded 6 front-runner lobby, and especially if those lobbies have 1 or 2 runaways in them. The presence of runaways really stretches the field, so late surgers end up being really far back, and they struggle to meet the position requirements for their acceleration skills. So when the acceleration skills do fire, they're either firing in the dead zone, or they don't even fire at all because they're not in position. In lobbies without runaways, Dominators do a lot of work, so any of the 3 Umas can win in that case. Alright, so for skills, I have a few that I'm prioritizing. For acceleration, I'm trying to pick 2 of the following, either Slick Surge, Nimble Navigator, and Pump Iron. The acceleration dead zone is about half of the late race, so Slick Surge actually has a fair chance of activating at a good time. If Grass or Rudolf are in a good position, they also meet the conditions for Nimble Navigator and Pump Iron just as late game starts. Gold acceleration skills I feel are too expensive because the Scorpio Cup late race dead zone is still pretty big, and I feel it's too expensive to gamble on. Instead, you could use the skill points to pick up more speed skills. Mid-race speed skills are really important for the late surgers I have because we need them to get into the right position so they can actually use their acceleration skills. Because again, acceleration doesn't matter if the Uma is not in a position to use it. Okay, so the Symboli Rudolf that I'll probably be taking will probably be this one. It has a lot of acceleration skills, so let's pump some iron, but I also managed to get Condor's Fury and Redshift onto this Rudolf. It's got medium S, it has a double left-handed, so although the speed isn't capped, the double left-handed plus the medium S should make her pretty fast. I have a good selection of mid-game speed skills in medium corner, straightaway adept, late surger straightaways, and 15 million CC, although there's a kind of a randomness in that straightaway adept and 15 million CC could actually activate in the final straight, because there's an uphill in the final straight and then the straightaway adept picks a random straight. The plan with this one is that as she's overtaking on the final corner, the overtake will trigger both Outer Swell and Condor's Fury, which will hopefully put her into position to use Pump Some Iron and then put her into position to use Redshift, and then when she comes out of the corner, she'll have hopefully overtaken 3 Umas to activate Divine Might, and then she'll rocket forward. This is actually kind of hard to do in practice depending on what the lobby is. So if the lobby has a lot of front runners, this will never happen because the front runners are too far away for her to overtake 3 of them to activate, but that's okay because she has Dominator, which will help Taiki Shuttle overtake them. Now, speaking of Taiki Shuttle I will be bringing this Taiki Shuttle. She got her Shooting for Victory. She's got medium S, capped speed, double left-handed, and she's got a lot of speed skills. In addition to Shooting for Victory, she's got Head On, so if Head On activates at the proper time in the late race, she'll double up her acceleration and be able to take advantage of all the late game speed skills that she has, like Blue Rose Closer, Speed Star, and All I've Got. Depending on when playtime's over activates, sometimes it activates in the late race, then that'll also help. So she is going to be the one whose main task is to overtake and win all of the Umas who've been dominated by Rudolf, and my Grass Wonder. Grass Wonder, I will probably be taking this one. This one because it has the most power and has medium S. Does have the 2 acceleration skills we talked about and a lot of medium speed skills. And of course a second Dominator for the team. Okay, so does Team Rigil actually work? Yes, the races running in the background kind of show that. When positioning works, so like when the skills activate in the mid-race to get Rudolf and Grass in the right spot, they can activate their acceleration and they can zoom forward for the win. If they're not in the right place to win, then they've got Dominator to slow everyone down so that Taiki can shoot past them with her acceleration and her late game speed skills. But if the lobby structure kind of fights against you, this build does struggle. So in a very front runner heavy lobby with a few runaways, sometimes the runaways get too far ahead for my late surges to catch up even with the double Dominator. And sometimes because of the heavy front runner load, Taiki's never in a position to use her acceleration. So yeah, so if the lobby structure fights you, you can't really do anything about it. So that's how I approach the Scorpio Cup with my team idea. It's how I balance playing the characters I like with the competitive reality of the meta. We'll see how Team Rigil holds up once the cup actually starts. So if you're riding an off-meta team as well, let me know what you're trying. I'd like to see how it does. And you guys let me know next class.